Hello and welcome to the evening news for Wednesday, April 2, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Priya Manichan stands her ground in Parliament. Philadelphia man murdered after row with man. Smuggled chickens from Venezuela stifling local poultries. PNCR secret polls decreasing interest in snap elections. Vive House says goodbye after serving 35 years. And sea defense breaches at Hyde Park repaired. Now for the news in detail. People's Progressive Party Civic Parliamentarian and Education Minister Priya Manichan stood her ground in the National Assembly today after offering an explanation for some comments she made yesterday while heckling. Michael Young reports.
Comment yesterday was not intended to disrupt the House or to disrespect the Speaker and presenter at the time, Valda Lawrence. She did not apologize for the comments made yesterday.
I made a remark yesterday while Mrs. Lawrence was speaking, and I wanted to make it clear that that remark was not intended to disrupt Mrs. Lawrence. In fact, I've said that to her myself, and or to in any way disrupt the House and or offend Your Honor in any way.
Yesterday, APNU's Member of Parliament Valda Lawrence addressed the House during the national budget debate, advocating for girls and young women to be protected from men who often get away with statutory rape. It was during this speech the Education Minister heckled the APNU member, which resulted in the Speaker barring her from debating until she could have apologized.
Member Ms. Manichan referred to C.N. Sharma when the honourable member was speaking about rape or statutory rape or something like that. She needs to apologize to what you see there.
Position here, sir, and I'll tell you why. I've never refused to heed your advice, but it goes against.
Ms. Manichan,
no, sir. Five children.
Ms. Manichan, you will be
cannot.
speaking later. I will not recognize you to speak in this assembly.
I'm not speaking today.
Very well. On any day, on this debate, if that is the attitude you're going to take against a sitting member of this House,
I was
who has
not.
done no,
I
you
did
said
not.
ask your APNU member. You said ask your APNU member. You said ask. No, I heard you. You said ask your APNU member, and that was out of order. It was out of order.
Sir, may I be allowed
and
to...
I said that we should refrain from bringing in people's members of family, or anyone. And if that is the attitude that you're going to take, I really am very disappointed.
I will say without reservation that I was not referring to the...
You said ask the member of the APNU,
no,
Mr. Sharma.
Via her Facebook page today, the minister noted in detail the reason for her outcry in Parliament yesterday. In her lengthy statement on the social network, the Education Minister said that the Speaker of the House, in his reprimand, was genuinely trying to uphold the high standards laid out for the budget debates. Manichan said too that she was not referencing to the sitting member of the National Assembly, but made it clear that she was referring to his father, C.N. Sharma. While apologizing for the disruption she caused in the House, she said, and I quote, "I found it impossible to apologize to Sharma or for making the remark," unquote. Justifying her move, the Education Minister said C.N. Sharma was accused of rape and sexual abuse of women and children not once but several times. She said in the post that she will not be silenced, while she accepted that she may be reprimanded for not offering an apology to the House this afternoon. Priya Manichan says that she will continue to advocate for the rights of women across the country, regardless of whether she is a member of Parliament, a minister of government, or an ordinary citizen. Michael Young reporting for the Evening News.
In this Bishar Mohammed report, you'll hear now that police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the murder of Mahindra Singh, aged 38, of Philadelphia East Bank, Essequibo. Here are details.
38-year-old Mahindra Singh, also called Fat Boy, formerly of Zealot West Coast Demerara, was found in a semi-conscious state at his employer's home, Lot 76 Public Road, Philadelphia, East Bank, Essequibo. Moments after his discovery, he was picked up and rushed to the Leonora Cottage Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. According to information received, the Singh was at a friend's house when an argument broke out, during which the suspect, who is now in police custody, picked up a bottle and struck Singh to his head. His sister Babita told the Evening News what she knew of the incident.
Yes, he told me Babita must be come back here. So I said for what? He said no, make you come back here. So I said for what? He said what you do me boss me here. When I ask them for why you do that, you tell me why make them get a fight or whatsoever. But there is all time I got fight steady. Me take a scissors and me cut the thing out. And I tell him he must go bed. He say he had a hot and bad, said he now go be drunk himself and he take on 5. Then he get up on the bed and he tell me I go home. So he gone by the other man.
Another sister, Anita, explained that her brother's employer, Ramdat Bazdio, turned up at their home on Wednesday morning, informing them of her brother's condition.
I call Manikal to she and tell she that for come and see what happened to my brother. They see that he got a little frog or slime or whatever come out the mouth, and he talked to him and how he not answer but he torn, right? And he come for one of it, go with him at the hospital. So me ask him, why you come for? If you care him at the hospital, and why you not care him at the hospital? He said that how he alone and how he want one of it for go with him. After a little while, he gave a phone call back, and me know if his wife or who call him on the phone, he said that how the boy now move, right? So we come and we jump in the vehicle and we gone. When we gone, we find my brother torn over funny face at the ground. So me torn him for see what happened with him. When me torn him, me see he not breathe and me start for holler. Because me say he dead, but I didn't know how he did.
Ishwar Bazdio, son of the dead man's employer, said that the man left their home on Monday and did not return until Tuesday evening in a drunken state. He added that his father was the one who found him in an unconscious state on Wednesday morning.
About 5:30 time. When we come down, we see him this morning just there lay down. And my father get up and he go and call his sister. And when he come back, he was dead.
The police are awaiting a post-mortem as they continue their investigation. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Public Works Ministry employees today moved to repair a breach of the country's sea defense structure at Hyde Park, which last evening left the surrounding communities inundated by floodwaters. Here's Michael Young with the details.
After intense flooding on Tuesday at Hyde Park, contractors from the Ministry of Public Works today repaired the breach on the sea defense structure, which was caused by the high tides. The contractors built a wooden wall facing the sea and placed compact dirt on the inner side of the defense to prevent another breach, which could result again in intense flooding, causing residents to suffer more losses. When this newscast visited the area this afternoon, the contractors had completed major works. Meanwhile, waters started to recede. However, residents were still lamenting their losses. One woman related that she went out early Tuesday morning only to return to find her house underwater.
When I came home like about 8:50 in the morning, I see all water was like 2 feet in my home, and in the freezer, the music set, I had the fridge and the gas stove, everything was like in water, and a lot of stuff was floating around in the yard, even through the door. I see some old coconut hucks and stuff coming in through the door. And the clothes and things that I had in baskets, the clothes baskets, all that was floating. I had some stew pan, all was floating in the yard through the back door. It was coming out because I don't normally lock everything up when I leave. When I leave, I have some outside on the ground.
Another resident, Mohammed Hakim, also voiced his concerns.
I was at home. It wasn't that much high, but the next morning I wasn't at home, and when I reached home, the whole place was in water. It was actually about, for instance, like in the yard there was like about 12 to 14 inches deep. In the kitchen was actually like about a foot or so, or a little less than a foot high. And if you want, you could probably take a look and you could see up to now the freezers and a drinks box. So I suffer a lot of losses.
They recalled that this had happened several years ago in the area, but not with the severity as it did this time round. The Works Ministry in a statement on Tuesday said that other repairs are taking place at other sea defense structures across the country. For the Evening News, Michael Young reporting.
Local poultry farmers and shop owners are alleging that the smuggling of chicken from Venezuela has caused a significant decline in their business operations in the Northwest District. We have details from Alexis Rodney.
Poultry farmer Rajesh Turbani and Port Kaituma businessman Norville Cicheran are claiming that the constant smuggling of chicken from neighboring countries has caused a major dent in their business operations. In an interview with this newscast, Turbani pointed out that he would usually send approximately 12,000 pounds of chicken every fortnight to the Northwest District. However, this amount has significantly declined.
Normally he would carry 4,000, another customer would carry 2,500, and another customer would carry, this is how I sell my chicken, because I am in the Northwest market for about 5 years now. And it's been cut.
Even there are small poultry rearers up there, and even they are not getting problems.
They can't compete.
They can't compete. They can't compete. So that's why we are asking the Minister of Agriculture to look at it.
Meanwhile, Cicheran related that his business is suffering since he is unable to sell half of the amount he used. The businessman noted that he does not know who the persons are that are smuggling the meat here, but suggested that they could be Guyanese living in Venezuela.
I see when the boat comes in, I see who they distribute this chicken to, but I do not know their names. I even see when they change in the packet. And they sell the chicken at a cheaper price also. Far cheaper than that.
Because there is no taxes paid on it.
No taxes paying on it. It's interfering with the whole industry. The whole poultry industry.
The men are pleading with the authorities to look into the matter and have the culprits brought to justice so that their business operations can return to what it was.
The findings of a secret poll conducted by the PNCR have resulted in the main opposition party aborting any plans it has of forcing snap elections via a vote of no confidence against the government. Instead, the party and its coalition, a Partnership for National Unity, have intensified efforts to conduct retreats and outreaches aimed at regaining support. More in this report.
A source has told this newscast that the poll conducted by the PNC has shown that it would lose its one-seat majority in the National Assembly were it to go to any snap elections now. This newscast was further informed that this is the reason why the party has heightened its outreach programs and sensitization exercises across the country. The party has visited several communities including Lusignan, Port Morant, Bartica and other stronghold areas of the PPP with the aim of mustering up new support. The source explained that the poll was undertaken by a University of Ghana lecturer attached to the social science faculty with obvious ties to the People's National Congress reform. The polls found great discontentment among the supporters of the opposition as a result of the main parliamentary opposition's inability to undertake any substantive projects or changes during their time in the National Assembly since the conclusion of the last general elections. Leroy Bedlow reporting for the Evening News.
Stay tuned to the Evening News. More news soon. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. The United States Leadership, Education and Democracy LEAD project remains shelved as the U.S. Ambassador and Ghana's head of state, President Donald Ramotar, have still not yet met for consultations. More from Alexis Rodney.
Ramotar told a news conference last week that the two entities were not able to meet since their last discussion. Asked what might have prevented the meeting, the president said that he has a number of things to deal with. U.S. Ambassador Brent Hart had informed that he was also awaiting consultations with the president.
Well, we still have to meet with them to discuss that further. We haven't had a further meeting in recent times.
Why haven't you met us yet?
Huh?
Why haven't you met with the U.S. ambassador?
Well, it has to do with a lot of things, I don't have to deal with one thing.
The ruling administration had raised reservations about the U.S. $300 million leadership, education and democracy project, especially in areas of design and implementation. Presidential advisor on governance Gil Teixeira had told this newscast recently that several meetings set for last month between the two entities were postponed because of their unavailability. They were expected to meet and iron out their concerns. Meanwhile, opposition leader David Granger has again expressed disappointment that no progress has has been made on the stalled implementation of the U.S. LEAD project. Last year, the government rejected the U.S. Agency for International Development project. At the time, the head of the Presidential Secretariat, Dr. Roger Luncheon, had explained that the proposal did not reflect the input of the government of Guyana. The project was being implemented according to the IRI with the primary objective of supporting Guyanese stakeholders' effort to promote effective and responsive democratic institutions. It claims that the project is designed to strengthen political and consensus-building processes and skills through program components. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Air Division Commander George Vifehouse has expressed optimism that other ranks in the Guyana Police Force will continue to advance its overall development and modernization as he prepares to demit office on July 1. Bisham Mohammed was at his farewell parade today and filed this report.
The Guyana Police Force is now embarking on its modernization program, and I urge you to continue to study and understand your respective roles as to the changes ahead. Since we are living in the age of information technology, I am positive that our strategic plan to those modern changes will be a success. I pause here to say also, I am positive that under the new commissioner acting and the officers who are run, they have the capability in moving the strategic plan and make the modernization work.
The Assistant Commissioner of Police has called on the junior ranks to act within the confines of the law to gain more public support as he underscored the damage done to the image of the force because of rogue ranks and allegation of widespread corruption within the body.
I also wish to call on the junior ranks to display a high level of honesty, trust, respect, and let courtesy be the hallmark of passion to serve the public.
As the commander of the division that never sleeps, he charged his successor to be on the alert since the division is not a straight road.
To those of you who believe a division is easy, when you come there you shall find out. You'll find out for yourself. Because a division have a number of activities. Every day something wrong. You have protests here, protests there, picketing here, picketing there, shows at the stadium, Sapphire Guy Expo, this expo, that expo, the president's office, prime minister live here, minister live there, banks, everything. As I told a meeting the other night, a division is not a straight road. It's a complex division. As
he leaves, the Vifehouse reminisced on his most memorable time in the Guyana Police Force.
I recall when I went to immigration the first day, the then DCIO decided that she's not going to sit in the seat and hand over. She moved out to the seat and gave me the seat, said, you sit down there. And I said, but what is amazing is that 10 o'clock the night, we were still in that building, people hustling and bustling to get passports. It was chaotic. It was disastrous. It was real bad. And with the intervention of the Commissioner of Police then, myself and a team, we work and give ourselves a deadline. And give ourselves a 3 months deadline. We had over 100,000 passports in backlog. And we give ourselves a deadline that we're going to bring that down. We did. It was during that time, it was during the immigration time, that we received this award from the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce. And why did I do it? Because every morning when I go to work, I take a desk and I go outside and I sit and I have a young lady with a book standing next to me. And I deal with all the people who want to see the DCIO, because they have some staff who used to block them from seeing me. So I deal with everybody out there. And before the day out or 2 days after, they receive their document. And because of that, the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce recognized the work of the Immigration Department and awarded the department for the first time with the Shield of Excellence.
Commander Vifehouse joined the Guyana Police Force on July 1, 1977. He has led several divisions, including the Chief Immigration Office, which brought into the public limelight. He holds a diploma in social work from the University of Guyana and has participated in a number of training exercises in Jamaica and the United States of America. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, Shadow Home Affairs Minister Winston Felix, in his debate presentation on Tuesday, said that the community policing groups are being spoiled by the government. Let's find out more in this report. APNews Member of Parliament Winston Felix has voiced concern over the allocations set aside in the 2014 national budget for the security forces. He said that some of the allocations were unnecessary and above what the force needed to dispatch its mandate to the public.
Community policing has been spoiled by this government. Community policing is intended to be an interaction. That's right, political policing, not community police. There are community policing groups which have now been turned into a police force. In the incident I related on the quarantine recently, the people had to protect themselves by forming themselves into vigilante groups. When on the very quarantine, there are a number of persons reported to me who have community policing vehicles in their homes and do nothing with it. And according to the reports I've received, this government pays them $20,000 to $25,000 a month. And that is why you will notice in this year's budget, community policing gets more than the Guyana police. 430 million. If a serious look at here, 447. More than the police will get. At least, I think, 33 million more.
Felix also condemned Minister Clement Rohi for not raising the salaries of the joint services, noting that these are the people charged with the protection of the citizens and as such should be properly remunerated.
This budget, Mr. Speaker, has not done much for the Guyana Police Force. There are marginal increases allocated to certain areas. The big increase is under training, and that is to take care of the expenses incurred with the SWAT team, of which two of the trainers still remain here, obviously to ensure that they are in shape, they're properly looked after in the early stages. But that is an expense on us. Millions of dollars have to be paid.
He said that the community policing groups are acting outside of their remit and are usurping the responsibilities of the police.
When the minister can't get his way, he calls on the commissioner to transfer. That is true. I don't want this man here. Never. Yeah, I'm going. Whenever, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Minister has anything concerning the organization, there are serious problems.
A new Berbice Chamber of Commerce president was expected to be elected today as the chamber holds its annual general meeting and elections.
I think my legacy really has been to keep the Berbice Chamber of Commerce on the radar, to really spread it to various communities and various areas of the region, to make it more well known. As I said, there was a period in time when the chamber was really an inactive force, an active organization, and many people may not have known that the Berbice Chamber was still in existence.
That was outgoing president of the Berbice Chamber of Commerce highlighting his legacy after being elected 2 years ago. A new president is expected to be elected today at the Chamber's annual general meeting and elections. Rup Narain told this newscast that his main objective as the president was to make valuable representation for business. He says his community has managed to complete its work program.
Tort is not a good number for the Berbice Chamber of Commerce. Bearing in mind that there are two other chambers in Berbice. So they will take up the central businesses. One will take up this business in the central area, and one will, represent the businesses in the upper quarantine area. Yes. So really we represent the lower quarantine area in Amsterdam, East Bank, up to Borlam Tort. But as I said again, Tort is not a good number for us. When we are situated in the the largest township in Berbice, it is not a good number for us.
For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
This is the evening news. Stay tuned. More news ahead. Welcome back. This is the evening news. Labour Minister Dr. Nanda Gopal gave a Partnership for National Unity APNU and the Alliance for Change, the AFC, a stern warning on Tuesday, telling them that the move to cut the $220 billion budget will indirectly see a reduction in votes come next elections. Cut the budget, you will cut your votes, he told the opposition. More from Svetlana Marshall.
Labour Minister Dr. Nanda Gopal sounded his warning while defending the $6 billion grant budgeted for the Ghana Sugar Corporation, GAISUCO, to assist the ailing sugar industry. Dr. Gopal reminded the House that the sugar industry has made an enormous contribution to the development of Ghana for more than 300 years.
When sugar price soared in 1974 in particular, the millions of dollars which were extracted from a sugar levy which was introduced in 1974 was extracted and used for national development purposes. In fact, it was misused. It was misused. The levy was used, sir, for all sorts of experiments. They went into other crops division.
Minister Gopal maintained that no one could ever compensate the sugar industry for the billions of dollars in revenues that have been garnered from it. He said, like any other industry, the sugar industry has had its ups and downs. He used the opportunity to criticize APNU's Anthony Vera, who had suggested that Ghana focus on the production of ethanol and aquaculture.
Mr. Vera coming out with some of the right things on the industry didn't have the belly, sir, to continue in sugar when faced with hardship. He closed down his industry, he closed down his estate, put workers on the breadline. Mr. Vera is in no position to lecture the industry in any way as to improvement. He had a failed record. He's a failure in terms of the sugar industry.
Like the Agriculture Minister, Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, Dr. Gopal believes that sugar will return to its former glory. He maintained that the People's Progressive Party Civic will continue to invest in the industry. Innocent Guyanese should not be placed on the breadline, the Labour Minister told the House, as he called on all parliamentarians to endorse the $220 billion budget.
A man was remanded after being charged with rape and possession of cannabis, as we hear in this report.
32-year-old Clifton Anthony of Lot 89 Baggersville, West Bank, Demerara, was today remanded to prison after he appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court, slapped with 2 charges before the Chief Magistrate, Priya Sunarayan Bihari. The accused pleaded not guilty to the charges read to him. It was alleged that the defendant on March 28 at Port Kaituma had in his possession 10 grams of cannabis. Defense counsel Paul Fongafat told the court that his client is a businessman in Port Kaituma and a father of 1 child. Fongafat also posited that the cannabis was actually found in the shop, but his client was not there at the time and was not aware that the narcotic was present in his shop. The defendant is also being charged for the rape of a 7-year-old child. Police prosecutor Michael Grant objected to bail because of the nature of the offense and the tender age of the child. Bail was refused by the Chief Magistrate, and the defendant is expected to make another court appearance on April 30th when statements will be submitted. Leroy Bedler reporting for the Evening News.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching Evening News. Welcome back. Public Service Minister Jennifer Westford has encouraged public servants to be disciplined in the discharge of their duties. Details from Leroy Bedlow.
Public Service Minister Jennifer Westford charged the public servants to be disciplined in the dispensation of their duties and their respective office.
Unless our policies are implemented efficiently, courteously, honestly, and enthusiastically, we will achieve far less than we intend, and which our people surely deserves. Mr. Speaker, our growing economy and rising standard of living have resulted in increased demands for new and better roads, more port for mooring, increased and improved water, electricity, and telecommunications infrastructure. Over the years, Mr. Speaker, this government has invested in infrastructure that was either woefully run down or non-existent in some cases. This 2014 budget seeks to maintain that trend and also increases the sums allocated on much needed social infrastructure, such as I mentioned before: water, electricity, schools, roads, health facilities, and housing, amongst others.
The minister said it was necessary for workers to recognize the importance of some of the measures contained in the budget because of the impact it will have on their respective lives.
We have heard the criticism that there is nothing for poverty alleviation in this budget. Mr. Speaker, this is ludicrous. The reality is that all of the members embodied in this 2014 budget are geared towards alleviating and ultimately diminishing poverty in our country to negligible figures.
Some $830 million has been allocated for the Public Service Ministry in the 2014 national budget. And according to Minister Westford, while it is welcomed, there still remains pressure on the resources, both human and otherwise, to complete the job. Leroy Bedlow reporting for the Evening News.
Chief Executive Officer of the New Amsterdam Public Hospital Corporation, Alan Johnson, says there is a shortage of midwives at the institution. Here are details. There is a shortage of midwives coupled with the migration of trained nursing staff to Region 5 that is affecting the New Amsterdam Hospital's ability to deliver a higher level of training to the residents of Region 6 and the scores that are referred there.
We have a full complement of doctors, but where nurses are concerned, recently there has been, and this was discussed at a meeting we had in Georgetown, where a number of nurses trained in New Amsterdam want to go back home and they've been transferred to Region 5, especially staff nurses. As a consequence, we are very short supply right here now.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the hospital related that they are conducting training with the nurses as it relates to duties with the hope of improving the overall quality of service they deliver to patients.
We've had some difficulty with a few nurses, not all the nurses. With a few nurses, generally the nurses are performing well. If the nurses were not performing well, we would not have had the successes that we're getting. But we're dealing with some of the attitudes to training through talking to them regularly. Matron has a meeting with our nurses every month, with our senior staff every month. And so by training, I've just completed training with nurses and other staff in supervision, in powers of supervision, and managerial skills, supervision skills.
As Hindus across the country observe another period of fasting, Pandit Jagmohan Prasad is urging politicians to seek guidance from above during this round of budget debates. More from Gabriela Patram.
As Hindus across the country observe Mahashivratri, Pandit Jagmohan Prasad from the Gayana Hindu Dharmic Sabha is urging individuals to think on good and favorable things.
Navratri is a special period. It is the opportunity when Hindus seek to propitiate Adi Shakti Ma, to worship God in her feminine aspect. But it is a beautiful period. It is a time when we take advantage of the opportunity, the auspicious period, to remove all the negative tendencies, all the negative qualities, to divest ourselves of all these negative things in life.
He has also called on politicians to seek the divine wisdom of the Almighty as they debate issues of national interest in the National Assembly.
We should allow good judgment to prevail. We should allow sober thinking to prevail, and whatever we do, we must do it in such a way that we do not only allow ourselves to benefit out of such exercise.
Hindus are presently on a 9-day fast, barring themselves from utilizing any meat, keeping their bodies pure and clean. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
A disciplinary action will be taken against officers of Kemal's International Home in Quarantine for neglect of duties. The Quarantine Orphanage came into spotlight in December 2013 following allegations of maltreatment of orphans residing at the institution. Human Services and Social Security Minister Jennifer Webster, while debating the 2014 national budget in the National Assembly, said disciplinary action will be taken against those officers who failed to execute their duties in accordance with the public service rules. This recommendation emanated from a committee which was appointed by Webster to investigate the allegations which were made by 3 teenage girls who were charged for wandering. Webster did not specify whether the Kemal International Home had breached the established standards. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the evening news. Stay tuned for sport, sponsored by Macor. Back now for a look at sport, but first, the headlines. Overwhelming support for West Indies ahead of World T20 semi-final. Cyclists renew calls for velodrome, and boxing returns to Cliff Anderson Sports Hall this weekend. Of course, our sportcast comes to you with the kind compliments of Macor.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. But that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macor, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news as the West Indies prepare to take on Sri Lanka in the first semi-final of the World T20 in Bangladesh tomorrow. Guyanese have thrown their support behind the Darren Sammy-led side, confident that the Caribbean lads can retain the title they won in 2012. The West Indies will start with the psychological advantage, having toppled the Sri Lankan in the final 18 months ago to lift the coveted title. We took a walk around Georgetown today, and here's what we found out from the fans.
Well, as a West Indian, we're looking forward for a West Indian victory, and we hope the guys would perform, well, like they did against Pakistan, Gale didn't get to come off, but Sammy and Bravo, they did a fairly good job in helping to repair, the innings. At one time, it didn't look as though we was going to get 140 or 150.
We are a big supporter of the West Indies cricket team, and win or lose, we are West Indian, and we should stand by them, win or lose. So, but I believe 100% that West Indies have a chance to bring home a second time the 2020 trophy. And I feel proud of the West Indies right now what they are doing, and doing a very good job.
I think West Indies so far, playing for the past 3 games, they've been really improved West Indies team. I'm very happy they lost 1 game in the tournament because, they're very inconsistent. Tomorrow, Sri Lanka, I think it's final. It's final since yesterday, tomorrow. But my prediction is West Indies India final.
I must say that West Indies has been playing well. And they have a good bowling attack. But I never ever underestimate the Sri Lankans because they also have a very good bowling attack and batting attack.
Well, West Indies stand a very good chance of qualifying into the final because they have a good form going into the semi-final, and some of the guys playing really well, and I think they stand a very good chance of beating Sri Lanka in the semi-final.
West Indies all the way. We're West Indians from start to end. If but now maybe we gonna win this game. We got this.
We don't win it. We just representing it. Representing it. Don't got.
Think about them tomorrow. Win all the time. Yeah, win all the o'clock. All we winning.
Everybody know this game belongs to West Indies. It's time we get back in the game. It's time we stand on our foot, and it's time we prove to the world that we could do what all the ones do.
I think West Indies is going to play very well because they're confidence and they're playing good one day. They're playing good 2020 cricket and they have the confidence because we beat Sri Lanka in the finals and we got the trophy and we going to retain the trophy.
West Indies going to destroy them, buddy. West Indies is the champ all the time. Going to destroy them. He's number 1. You don't know. Yeah, buddy.
Sri Lanka is a very good team. They run down the runs. But as Malinga only got 4 overs to bowl. And after the 4 overs, he out of the match. And the 2 top batsmen, as time we get them already, gone clear.
They're scratching right now. Dilton and Jaiwan and man doing nothing. So we got a far better chance for them. We can destroy them. They can get like what Pakistan gets.
I would like West Indies to win tomorrow because they're in the winning spirit. Gayle gonna make some runs tomorrow, and we get the finisher who's gonna do the finishing job. And with this winning tone they're in, they should beat Sri Lanka tomorrow and go through to the finals. I wish them all the best, sir.
The match will bowl off at 9 hours 30 Guyana time, and while the Sri Lankans are unsure of who their captain is, West Indies are bound to go into the game with the same 11 that has won 3 matches on the trot. A more settled unit, West Indies will start as clear favourites, especially since they will enter with the psychological advantage, having defeated the same opposition en route to being crowned champions in 2012. With a firing batting lineup and bowling attack getting better with every game, West Indies have become the team to beat, having blasted away Bangladesh, Australia and Pakistan in fine style after an opening loss to India. Dew is expected to be less of a concern in Mirpur as it has been in Chittagong, and according to the experts, the weather is predicted to be favourable for cricket. Cycling news now. A group of cyclists last Saturday protested the slothfulness of the relevant authorities in having a velodrome constructed in Guyana. But those in charge of administering the sport are urging the riders to have some patience as plans are afoot to have such a facility here. A group of riders led by overseas-based Guyanese Randolph Toussaint on Saturday aired their concerns about what they termed as a long overdue velodrome in Guyana. Speaking to this newscast immediately after the staging of an 11-race program in the national park, the cyclists vehemently called on the relevant authorities to consider building such a facility.
In the late 50s, we've been begging for a track, a training track. We can't get nothing. We need a track now. Cyclists getting killed on the road.
We gathered today because we want the public to know that the cyclists in need of a truck. And with so long we was promising a truck, and we can't get a truck. So we come together here now to let the public know that we are appealing to the authorities so that they can start setting up a truck for the cyclists.
We beat the best in the world. Jolin Joseph beat the best in the world. And since Larry Lewis, Boy Blue, and these people, we still waiting for a truck in this country. It's ridiculous.
Government making warm up pool now. They don't make a swim pool now. They make a warm up pool now. Cyclists telling on for ride for how much years?
People in the federation doing nothing for these youngsters. It's about time you have a track. You look how long. You got a lot of do before now. You understand?
In an invited comment, President of the Guyana Cycling Federation, Cheryl Thompson, said while there have been lots of talk about the velodrome, all is not lost.
I can safely say that the Guyana Cycling Federation has been feverishly working on or are working along with the government in trying to ensure that we have a track.
On the issue of the Federation's lack of support, Thompson pointed out that the governing body has always placed the development of the sport as top priority.
I would not wholeheartedly say that the Federation is not working towards achieving the velodrome or some cycling track where the cyclists can come off the road and do their training and perform. So I can safely say that we are working towards that, and we are working along with persons who are interested in helping us and giving us some sort of input, some ideas and so on in making this a reality.
Meanwhile, national coach Hassan Mohammed, who also weighed in on the issue, said government has been vibrant in erecting facilities across the country and it's only a matter of time before cycling becomes a beneficiary. He also chided the protesting riders for the way in which they went about voicing their concerns.
Everything takes time. I've been here by the track since 1958 when I started the race, right? And their concern is not really, I would say, that they are clamoring for it. I've been talking about the bank track ever long, but for some time or the other, I know it is in the making, but when it will happen, I don't know. But at the same time, how they're going about it is not the right way.
A velodrome is an arena for track cycling. Modern velodromes feature steeply banked oval tracks consisting of two 180-degree circular bends connected by two straights. And finally, some boxing news. In what is envisaged to be an evening of fistic fury, the Guyana Boxing Board of Control will host Jamaican Invasion, a 5-fight boxing card on Saturday evening at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. A maximum of 32 rounds of boxing is carded for the night, with action set to commence at 20 hours. The night's action will be headlined by what is touted as a mouth-watering showdown between Guyanese Dexter the Kid Marks and Jamaican Rudolph Cutting Edge Hedge, who will square off in a 12-round title fight. Both pugilists have expressed confidence about doing each other, but when they enter the ring on Saturday, all the thrash talk will count for nothing if skills, dexterity and tact are a no-show. At stake would be the WBC Kabofe flyweight belt, currently wrapped around the waist of Marks. And with that, we've come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by MarkCorp. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned. Your bridge reports on the other side of the ring.
Believe that everything worth building should be built just once. But that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. MarkCorp, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, April 3 at 5 hours for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Thursday, April 3 at 6 hours 5 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for Wednesday, April 2, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramsden, encouraging you to join us for the morning news at 7 hours tomorrow. Stay tuned. This is TVG.